hello. Hi. Hello, hello. Hi. Hi. So I actually have better news than I thought. So how yesterday I found out that my hi Veronica, hi Rebecca. You know how yesterday I found out. Thank you Mark. Thank you Kempit. Hi Robert. So I actually have better news than I thought I did. You know how yesterday I found out that that my work authorization was approved and now I have no restrictions, and how I said that my travel permit should be approved sometime in the near future as well. So turns out that in my particular case, because of the way I filed, the work authorization actually doubles as the travel permit. And that means that it should be arriving within 3 weeks. And that means that I will be able to travel home once it arrives. So that will be great news. Hi, Vata WC. So that will be fantastic news. However, my international freaking passport expires in a month. And Ukrainian embassy both in Chicago and in New York has 0 openings to renew your international passport. So I am going to be watching those appointments like a hawk. And if anybody works at the Embassy of Ukraine in New York or Chicago, help a girl out. I really freaking want to go home for the first time in 8 years. So yeah, those are the news. With that said, our fundraiser is still going, and I'm thinking now, since I should be able to travel in about 3 weeks, we might not need to order and ship anything. I might be able to buy the night vision devices and bring them with me in a suitcase. Kind of bittersweet news. Rather sweet news. We're going to figure out the bitter part. We're going to figure out an appointment to the embassy. We're going to figure out how to get a biometric passport as soon as freaking possible. Because what's going to end up happening is I'm going to be able to go outside of the country and I'm going to be able to go home, and then I'm not going to have a freaking passport. And then my mom is going to tell me what she loves to tell me. I told you so. And she's laughing because she's sitting right in front of me. No, I can't lie to them and say that I misplaced my passport and need it for my green card. They're going to be like, oh, well, that is a you issue, it seems. And also, they are mostly dealing with refugees right now, which is why there are such crazy waits. Hi, Winter Raven. But so yes, my mom quite literally is sitting there and already, and her face already says, "I told you so." Like it you know how like on Times Square there are these like running things in red and they tell you like the dollar exchange rate for the day. This is what I see in my mom's eyes right now, like the red strip saying, "I told you so, I told you so, I told you so." And she's laughing, so I feel like I'm completely right. Мамочко, що ти мені хочеш сказати?
Що я тобі казала, що скільки місяців тому треба робити паспорт.
She literally says, I just want to say that how many months ago did I tell you that I told you so? О, Назар пише Назар модератор пише: я тобі казала, Юля, а ти мене не слухала, а тепер маєш. Назар, що, одна і та сама мама? Hi, guys. But oh no, oh my gosh, if I have a travel permit, I'm not gonna wait till Christmas. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna like smuggle myself. I feel like I can smuggle myself into Ukraine. That's cool. Like I can figure that out. And that is not as much issue as Назар каже, ті львівські всі однакові. Oh my gosh. My mom is still here. She did not have to make it back safely yet because she is still here. And she's going to be here till Sunday. My favorite part of all of this was that I called my grandparents today. My grandmother's phone was not, for some reason, not working. And so I called my grandpa. He was outside, quite literally frying himself in the sun. That's his favorite thing to do. So he was frying himself in the sun, and I was like, hey, is grandma with you? And he was like, no, she's somewhere inside. I'm like, go find grandma. I have very good news. And so he went and found grandma, and they're both sitting there, and they're like, so what's up? And I'm like, so guys, I got my work authorization. And so both of them start clapping, and then they're like, so what does that mean? And I'm like, what do you mean? Why are you clapping? Then they're like, well, you came and you said it's good news. So we're clapping over here. I'm like, guys, that means that my travel permit should be here sometime soon. I didn't want to tell them because I want to make sure first. Hi, Peter. And so they were like, so does that mean you need to go and make an American passport? How are you going to leave the country? I'm like, I can't have an American passport if I'm not an American citizen, guys. It's not how it works. And they were bickering in between each other whether I should be getting an American passport or not. I was like, guys, this is not even a point of contention right now. But anyways, they said that if I am happy, they're happy. I don't think they quite realize what just happened, but you know. But we appreciate their grandparenty cuteness. Hi, Brandy. Hi, Karen. Yes, moms do indeed do that all the time, especially mine. Mine beams when she has an opportunity to say, I told you so. And I quite love that she sometimes doesn't know some English words, so I can say things about her, and she's kind of smiling without knowing what it is that I'm saying. I just said that ти сяєш, коли в тебе є можливість сказати мені, я ж тобі казала.
Ти так мене бачиш.
I don't know. I see the light coming from behind your head. It's like, знаєш, when in stories Jesus comes down on earth, there's like a whoa. I see it now. Thank you, Arabella. Я не хочу тебе так бачити. Are you nervous to go back now? No. Are you kidding? No, I can't wait to get the freaking travel permit. I'm not nervous to go back. No. I am like ready. I was literally like, Mom, when should I buy the ticket for? She's like, dude, get your freaking authorization first and get your passport first. I'm like, I'm ready. Oh my gosh, take my money. Like whichever airline. I'm coming home. Tell the world that I'm coming home. Yeah, see, again. She's like, yeah, get your passport first, and then you'll be coming home. What a party pooper, huh? Oh, she's mocking me right now. I mean, I don't really care for safety right now. You know, I haven't been home in 8 years. Like, I just want to go home. Here's the thing. It's like nothing matters. You know, I haven't seen my grandparents in 8 years. I have not seen my dad in 8 years. I have not been to my city in 8 years. I don't care whether it's safe. I don't care. I don't care. I really absolutely just, I don't care. It's like, it is what it is, and whatever will be, que será, será, you know? Whatever will be, will be. So yeah, I can't believe it. I feel like it's not real. Yeah. Yeah. I really don't have much to say on this matter, just the fact that I really want to visit home. How do I am Slava? Thank you. Yeah, Jedediah, I got a work and travel permit, so now I can work without restrictions. And apparently, the way that I submitted my application, I submitted it concurrently, and apparently the work permit also doubles as a travel permit. And that card has been produced and should be with me within like 3 weeks ish. So that means that within 3 weeks, I could technically go home if all goes well, and I have not been home in 8 years. So, yeah. So yeah. Now I just need to find an appointment. Well, no, perfect timing. I don't care. I don't care. I was just talking about it. Like, to me, it doesn't matter. Like, I would go home under any circumstances. Apparently the work permission and the travel permission, Lauren, doubles as a, apparently the work permission doubles as a travel permission in this case because of the way that I applied concurrently. So my work permit is supposed to say underneath that it doubles as a travel permit. So now I can't wait to get it. Would you stay in Poland? No, I would be staying at home. I would be staying in my bed at home where I grew up. I would not be staying in Poland. I would be flying into Warsaw and taking the first bus that there is out of Warsaw into Lviv. Like, I would not be staying any minute in Poland. I would literally be going to, I will take the first flight that there is out of the US to, whatever there is. My mom does not seem happy. Mom is like, oh my gosh, it's returning. From Poland to Ukraine? Мам, скільки займає часу від Польщі до Львова?
Кілометрах, можу сказати.
Ну, якби я приземлилася в Варшаві, скільки мені займе часу доїхати додому приблизно?
Залежить від того, як на кордоні навчають.
Well, it depends on the border, but let's say, що все чудово і на кордоні немає якоїсь там супер черги.
Рахую, там 400 кілометрів, то приблизно. Ну, від Варшави там трішки інакше, там тільки половина Львану, а решта така. І годин 5.
Like 5 hours?
6. Все залежить від кордону.
Literally, it depends on the border situation, but hi crazy cat, but it's like 400 kilometers, so around 200 miles, and it usually takes about 5 to 6 hours. And Nazar, as to autobusy, I would not be taking an autobus. I would be taking my mom's car with my mom driving it. My mom would come pick me up in Warsaw. I would not be taking the bus. I would be taking my mom as a ride. But yeah. Hi everybody. Also, let me go quickly turn on the AC because, oh my gosh, Jen! No, oh my gosh, thank you. Oh, I still honestly can't believe it. I cannot believe that it's real. I cannot believe that that might happen. I cannot believe that it's approaching. I cannot believe it. Also, I don't know, like I would want to go home for like a couple of weeks. I would want to go home for like 3 weeks. Can I go home for 3 weeks? Oh, home. Oh. It's been 8 years that I have not been home. 8 years. Will Cindy be going with you? So that's one of my main like points of contention is that I don't want to leave Cindy alone. I don't want to travel without Cindy. I don't want to be without Cindy for 3 weeks ish. But I think that that I can't bring Cindy in cabin. I would have to ship her like luggage, and I would never do that to Cindy. So Cindy will be traveling with me if I can take her in cabin. If I can't take her in cabin, then Cindy unfortunately will have to stay home because I will not do that to Cindy. Like I will not put her in like the cage, like the way that they ship dogs in airplanes. Like no. Doctor note for emotional support animal. Well, they don't do that anymore for international flights, only service animals. Yeah, Cindy is not luggage, so Cindy will not be flying as such. But if I can figure out how to bring her in cabin, then wait, Rebecca, you do service animal things? Rebecca, are you telling me you could pass Cindy as a service animal this whole time? Oh my. Well, to be fair, I passed Cindy as a service animal the whole time. No, it's really funny. It's really funny because anytime I walk into Whole Foods in New York, there are never dogs there because no one knows that you can like bring dogs to Whole Foods. You can bring dogs to Whole Foods, and they're always like, "Oh, is this a service animal?" And I'm like, "Yep." But the thing is, Cindy like doesn't Cindy is pretty well trained in that regard, and she would not like react to others. She would not react to service animals. She does not like bother anybody in a grocery store, so she's not like she doesn't try to play with like big dogs or anything like that. So I am, and I also very, very rarely bring her with me grocery shopping. And the only place in New York where dogs normally are not allowed are grocery stores. And normally I only bring Cindy in if I have to like run in and out and like grab something small. But if I go like grocery shopping, I don't take Cindy with me. Tell them you're Cindy's support human. Maybe I can get a separate seat. What if I get Cindy a seat? Can one get Cindy a seat? Can I get Cindy a seat? Sin. Сеня. Сеня. Ты хочешь на батьківщину? Okay, guys, let me go turn on the AC because I am dying, and then we can start on the Ukraine news because today I decided I'd do it early, so I'm not tired, and I'm tired anyway. So first of all, also I'm gonna put a coffee pot thing. Well, coffee. thing. Oh, Vasil broke my favorite mug today. By accident. According to my mom, it fell by itself. Hi, Wisconsin. And according to my mom, the mug was just standing there and then it fell. And I'm like, what do you mean? How does a mug fall by itself? But it's okay. I already ordered a new one. It is my favorite mug. It's huge, and had to mess up somehow. That's true. I mean, I wasn't even mad. I was just like, find me the bottom of the mug so I can see what the brand is, so I can go get it immediately. And that's what I did. It was $14. It's like this big. Привіт, Houdini. So it's like a huge mug, and it's basically like 2 coffee servings, and that's exactly what I need in the morning. А я думаю, що Василя вже ніде не видно. Я кажу, мама, Василь розбив мою улюблену кружку. Мені пишуть, а я думаю, що Василя вже ніде не видно. It's like, no, I did not do anything with him. So, Pet Shop by, if you look up Pet Shop dog lovers mug, it's like, ще привіт від підрозділів РТВ. Ще привіт від підрозділів РТВ.
Мені?
Та нам.
Вам?
Привіт. У мене просто мама ще сидить там. Але я піду зараз візьму, включу кондиціонер. I'll go turn on the AC. And yeah, it's a dog lover's mug. Do you guys want me to link it and like to know it? Do you guys want me to link it so you can easily get to the link and purchase the mug if you'd like? It's like Pet Shop by French Studio Dog Lovers mug. It's really nice. I mean, I love it. It's my favorite mug. Радіотехнічних військ. Так. Зрозуміло. Дуже дякую. Вам також привіт. So, okay, let me go turn on my AC. Let me go grab a cup of coffee. I will be back. My mom will entertain you in the meanwhile in Ukrainian. Мама. Поговори тут з народом, поки я зроблю собі каву. Можеш українською.
Ой,
Ну, мама, що ти хочеш? Публіка тебе любить.
так. Заплуталась. Hello. I'm Natalie. I am Yulia's mom.
Що ти так мені хотіла сказала? She's like, I'm that person's mother.
Мама. Привіт, мама. Всім привіт.
Українці, маєте поки що можливість запитувати питання без перебивання і вам відповідатимуть на українській, тому що в мене так не буває, бо мені треба на англомовну аудиторію, а от мадам тут може вам відповісти на всі запитання ще й українською мовою. Солов'їною?
Так, я солов'їною, так. Я тільки тут не дуже бачу. Привіт, Юлія, мам, Наталі. Всім привіт. Ще раз всім, хто пише, всім привіт. Ола. Привіт.
By the way, my mom is single.
Слава Україні, героям слава. Good evening. Hello. Оце пише, я не... Донька схожа на вас. Напевно, але більше схожа на тата. Я так гадаю, просто ви тата не бачили.
Я схожа на тата, коли я роблю щось, що не подобається мамі. Коли мною пишаються, я схожа на маму. Добре?
Ну, це нормально. Нормальне явище для батьків.
Що я сьогодні не так зробила? Що я вже схожа на тата?
Так, додому вже хочеться. І я вже скоро буду повертатися додому. Я тут на короткий термін. Всього на 2 тижні. І тому я вже, в принципі, подумки вдома. Але ще маю такий трошки подорож, тому що зараз неможливо прилетіти зразу у Львів. А треба ще трошки пролетіти, потім проїхати.
Мама, що
Трошки
я сьогодні
тяжко.
такого зробила, що я схожа на тата? Що я сьогодні такого скоїла,
А
що
ну
я...
розкажіть нам, чи Юля слухняна, а то вона нам таке розказує, що не дуже віриться.
Та він жартує, мама. То...
Так, ну я теж
приколіст.
можу не дуже слухняна, як на мене.
Добрий вечір.
Я теж жартую. Так, з якого міста в Україні? Зі Львова. Як справи, мама? Справи чудово. Так, щось я тут не бачу нічого.
Ну там більше коментарів.
Мгм.
Там вони швидше.
Так, як справи. О, я так, а що ви знали? Отакий комент. Ого, я так і знав. А що ви знали?
Що я не
Сміється.
слухняна.
Ну, всі діти для своїх батьків, напевно, в якомусь сенсі неслухняні.
Ну, не знаю, я ж не на тата стала схожа, так що...
Ні, сьогодні якраз ти слухняна.
А,
На диво.
на
На диво. Так. Хай. Юля, тебе зараз здадуть. Кидай Назарія. Так.
Назарій – це мій модератор.
Я зрозуміла.
Він дуже любить, розумієш, в нього такий язик підвішений.
Мгм.
Підвішений, файний, знаєш, ще підвішеніше, ніж в мене.
Всім дуже дякуємо. Ну, що ти вже зробила собі каву?
Так.
Все. Передаю слово і місце Юлі.
Дякую за такий великодушний прийом моєї матері, на яку я сьогодні не схожа. So, hi everyone, especially the non-Ukrainian speaking people. This was my mom who said that someone said, "Oh, your daughter looks like you," and she said, "Well, she looks more like her dad." And I'm like, "What did I do today?" Because normally I look like my mom when my mom is proud of me, and when she's mad at me, then I'm exactly like my dad. The normal things. When I do something she doesn't like, I'm exactly like my dad. When I do something that she does like, it's this is from me, this is from her. It's parents, am I right? I got a birthday gift in mail today. So I got salt and pepper shakers at другу. And they're from Jonathan Adler, which is like one of my favorite home decor designers. He's very like 60s sort of. And so he had these salt and pepper shakers, and they're cinnies. And Anastasia got them for me, so they're little cinnies. Salt, pepper. Tick, 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 tick. You understood two things. One was Lviv, and one was Mama. Yeah, they're really adorable, right? But so yeah, this was my mama. This is my coffee in a mug that's smaller than the mug that I wanted. Unfortunately, because the mug that I wanted has been broken by some little thing. They're Frenchies, not pugs. They're Frenchies. What do you mean pugs? Frenchies. I have a Frenchie. Thank you, Sherry. Rena speech. Well, yeah, most people speak English, but my mom just doesn't speak English that well, so I gave her a green light to speak Ukrainian. була колись у Харкові. Так, була у Харкові, коли мені було 13 чи 14 років. Я їздила з татом в Харків. І він пішов на ділову зустріч, і нарешті, бо в мене тато був такий контролюючий, в мене було 1,5 години самі погуляти по Харкову без тата, це було так круто. Bringing up the cup? Yes. I can keep bringing up the cup. Vasilko, I would ask you to make me coffee, but you know, my favorite mug is not alive anymore, RIP. Oh. Are they cats? Who are cats? Those salt and pepper shakers? They're 2 Frenchies, black and white. Salt and pepper. Salt and pepper Frenchies. Oh. Alrighty, guys. Let's start with the song, with the Ukrainian song, as we do every day, and then let's do the news before I decide to fall asleep like I have in the past couple of days. Frenchie's cat, same. Vasil is not afraid to come out of his room. I think he is just, I don't know, listening to something. I think he's listening to music. Hi, Army Mom. Oh, this is in Russian. It's a Ukrainian singer, but it's in Russian, so we're not going to do that. That's not something that I want to do, so we're going to do this one instead. Both of mom and I are like super tired today. No energy at all. I do need a new song, Nazar. Gimme. Oh, Anya, привіт! Аня, Настина, Аня. Мама. Настина, Аня. Мама каже привіт, Аня. No, he was not, Sherry. Also, guys, just as a gentle reminder, if you press on the link in my bio, it'll take you straight to the fundraiser for the to buy night vision devices for the soldiers in the Ukrainian army who drive ambulances during the day. They bring medication to hotspots for civilians, and during the night, they patch up soldiers, but they can't drive with lights on, so they're driving blindsided, because if they turn on the lights, they're going to be discovered by Russia. And now that I found out that I potentially might be able to travel in 3 weeks, I might be able to not even have to order these and ship them. I might be able to literally go and bring them. So let's get to $10,000 so we can, oh, thank you, Kay. So we can get 3 of the night vision devices for 3 ambulances, and the fundraiser is almost up to 5,000. Because you guys are awesome. I found $10 today in my jeans that I washed and haven't worn in like 6 months. Yeah. It's actually a very pretty song. I did put it into the Spotify playlist. So if you guys follow it, it's there. If you guys don't follow it, unfortunately, I think right now, if you click on my link in bio, it'll bring you straight to the fundraiser rather than to all of the links. Oh my gosh, Ruslana, no. No one in Ukraine actually likes Ruslana. The Kitansi is like, it's the same as when I mentioned Rabak to Norwegians, they're like, please don't. So yeah, same with us and Ruslana. No. But there is a playlist. I have a playlist on Spotify with a lot of Ukrainian songs. So if you'd like to know some more songs than just Ruslana, you are welcome to check it out. Okay, so CBS News. We removed a tweet promoting our recent documentary, Arming Ukraine, which quoted the founder of the nonprofit Blue Yellow, Jonas Allman's assessment in late April that only around 30% of aid was reaching the front lines in Ukraine. CBS has apologized for a story about Western weapons that allegedly disappear in Ukraine and removed it. We removed a tweet promoting our recent documentary, Arming Ukraine, that quoted Blue and Yellow founder Jonas Allman's late April estimate that only about 30% of aid reaches the front lines in Ukraine. Since then, according to Allman, delivery has improved. In addition, the U.S. military confirmed that Defense Attaché Brigadier General Garrick M. Harmon arrived in Kyiv in August to control and monitor weapons. We are updating our documentary to reflect this new information and release it later, CBS News said. Yeah, CBS, see, the fun thing is that when you did say that, what he meant was because of logistics issues, not because of disappearing in Ukraine. 30% of weapons were making it to the front lines because of logistics and delivery issues, not because they were sold in the black market, nor because they were disappearing in Ukraine. Thank you so much, Jewel. Thank you, Kay, for donating. That's really awesome. And at the end of this live, we're going to calculate exactly how much money we have raised so far. So yeah, but it's just that entire thing about CBS doing a documentary on weapons that are being sold in the black market because Russia said so, and saying that only 30% of weapons reach Ukraine front lines and they disappear was ridiculous. Because first of all, that was not even the allegation. The allegation was that there are lots of logistics issues, not that we are evaporating the weapons. Yeah, thanks for apologizing, CBS, but that's not going to make Tucker Carlson shut up about it. Humanity needs a new Nuremberg, Estonian Foreign Minister Urmas Reinsalu. During Reinsalu's visit to Ukraine, an agreement was reached that Estonia would help Ukraine adopt an international agreement that the political and military leadership of Russia bears not only military but also legal responsibility. Reinsalu does not yet know how to get the top leadership along with Putin, but emphasizes that the diplomatic immunity of the head of state does not extend to the perpetrators of genocide. This is about genocide and communication at the usual high level with genocidal politicians cannot be the new normal. Not to store big stockpiles of weapons in one place. Yeah, that's true. This is about genocide and communication at the usual high level with genocidal politicians cannot be the new normal. That is why the concept of legal responsibility is needed. It should formalize our relations or lack of relations with Russia, concluded the Estonian foreign minister. So sorry, it's really hot in here, so I have to take off my my shirt. Overshirt. EU insists on imposing sanctions against Turkey due to cooperation with Russia. The Financial Times reports that European officials are shocked by the friendly relations between Erdogan and Putin, as well as cooperation between the Russian Federation and Turkey in the field of energy, finance, and trade. Evening address of Volodymyr Zelensky as of yesterday because I missed it. After this Russian war against Ukraine, neither smoldering nor frozen conflict should remain. Ukraine must return everything that Russia temporarily seized, and the aggressor state must be punished for the crime of aggression. And this is important not only for justice, only the obvious defeat of the aggressor, the loss of everything captured by them, and their international legal responsibility for aggression are safeguards against any new war. This is what our diplomats, the office, government officials, and absolutely everyone involved in organizing a global political, economic, and legal response to Russian aggression are working on. By protecting our state, we automatically protect everyone who has been threatened or may be threatened by a terrorist state. And of course, the greatest contribution is now made by our military, all Ukrainian heroes who break the Russian terrorist machine on the battlefield. Thank you, Matthew. Also, speaking of breaking the Russian terrorist machine on the battlefield. Thank you again, Matthew. Yeah, speaking of breaking the Russian terrorist machine, I've been seeing so many videos flying around Instagram and TikTok about Russians having to evacuate Crimea and how it's so difficult and how they've been living there like it's their home. Quote, "We've been living here like at home, like we would have at home. It's been so nice here. I don't want to leave." And it's like, well, honey. Thank you, Cheryl. Here is the thing, honey. So you're leaving a place that you've occupied illegally, and you don't want to leave it, and there are bombs going off at air bases, and you're scared and you have to run, except you can run back home to Russia. Ukrainians, however, did not have that opportunity to go back home because they were running and they did not know where they were running to because their home was invaded. So, yeah, bon voyage. There were also videos of like the airbase, the smoke coming out of the airbase and people like on the beach. Their vacation got interrupted and they're like, "Oh my God, no, Mom, we gotta run. We gotta get the fuck out of here." And I was like, yeah, bye-bye. Do not look back. Bye. Don't come back. Have a good day. Adios. We are not gonna miss you. Bye-bye. Hi, Anna. But yeah, so it's like, as I said earlier, bon voyage. Actually, not bon voyage, because I really terribly hope that maybe right behind your car, they're gonna blow up the Kerch Bridge, so you have that last little bit of fear of Ukraine before you enter your Russian territory, and therefore you won't ever want to come back because, Oh, also here, dear Russians who are leaving Crimea, we eat Russian children in Banderstadt. In Banderstadt, for instance, Lviv, we eat Russian children for breakfast. Today I found out that my mom said that we don't only eat Russian children, we don't discriminate. According to Russians, we eat all kinds of children. And I was like, damn, mother. So my whole life I could have eaten all children, but I've been eating just the Russian children. They taste bitter. I could have eaten more children than just the Russian children. Because according to Russians, we eat newborns. I thought my whole life that according to them, we eat Russian newborns. Turns out, I did not have to eat that, eat those second sort little newborns. But yeah, so dear Russians, all of the rumors you heard are true. We are eating Russian children for breakfast. Russian newborns particularly, we do not enjoy them, but we eat them anyway. You people taste bitter. We do in Banderstadt, for instance, we like bombing Donbass, so we don't discriminate either. We can bomb Moscow as well. So for all of you Russian people leaving Crimea, me, my mom, everybody from Banderstadt, we are heading to Crimea, and we're going to be eating Russian children there. So don't come back. It is really dangerous there. Kentucky Fried Orc. Мама Боже, знаєш KFC? KFC – це Kentucky Fried Chicken. Я розказую про те, що, росіяни кажуть, що моєму народжений, знаєш, мені хтось написав Kentucky Fried Orc. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Did you try adding some salt to the children? Heard it cuts the bitterness. No, I dipped them in honey at some point, but I heard that when you put chemicals in honey, the reaction is not that great, and I'll tell you, it was not. Та в нас є Kentucky Fried Orc. What do you mean? Russian ambassador to Serbia, Botan Kharchenko, announced the possibility of creating a Russian military base in the country. He called such a decision the sovereign affair of Serbia itself, according to Russian media. The ambassador is sure that Serbia is much stronger in the military and military technical terms with the Balkan region, so they're beginning to reckon with it. Serbia is a friendly country, and Belgrade fundamentally rejects anti-Russian sanctions. But there is also a political component. In the agreement on gas supplies at the most favorable price, Kharchenko said. In the photo, a march of pro-Russian activists in Belgrade on May 9th. Oh my God. Oh. So, I look forward to seeing these people marching to the disgraced King Putin's portrait in the future, singing "Мы пионеры, дети рабочих," because basically that's what you're asking for. Well, good luck, you guys in Serbia, you guys in Hungary, you guys in Russia. Welcome back to communism. You hated it then, you're gonna hate it now. But since you love it so much from the books and from the stories about great Russia, good luck, bon voyage. Do whatever you want to do. You want communism, have communism. You want to stand in line for bread, stand in line for bread. Do whatever you like. Just, do it in your little Disneyland of fucked uppery. Don't try to impose that on us people who, have moved on past that, like, I don't know, 60 years ago, and never ever want to degrade back to that, but that's okay. Pentagon official, Russia has had between 70,000 to 80,000 casualties so far in the Ukraine-Russia conflict. First of all, Pentagon, please do not call that Ukraine-Russia conflict. It's Russian invasion of Ukraine. It's not a Ukraine-Russia conflict. Also, when you put Ukraine before Russia in the conflict, it kind of sounds like Ukraine caused the conflict. And it's not a conflict. It's a genocide. And it's a armed, violent invasion and aggression of Russian Federation onto the sovereign country of Ukraine. If you'd like to shorten that sentence, it's Russian invasion of Ukraine. That's not a Ukraine-Russia conflict. We're not in conflict with anybody. We have no conflict with anyone, frankly. We're just defending ourselves from a violent, brutal invasion. The war in Ukraine will end through diplomacy. This opinion was expressed by U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. We hope to see, like the Ukrainian president, that this is resolved diplomatically over time. Now, according to Blinken, it is necessary to defend the sovereignty and independence of Ukraine, which are important both for the Ukrainians themselves and for the world. The war in Ukraine may go on for years, but the next 2 months will be a turning point. This opinion was shared by the head of the National Security Bureau of Poland, Paweł Soloch. Everyone expects an offensive from Ukraine because its success would allow to negotiate a peace or at least a ceasefire. However, this is not happening now. Everything indicates that the next 2 months may be decisive. Until October, though, there will be fundamental decisions, he said. He also called for the immediate provision of more weapons to Ukraine, which is necessary for the counteroffensive. According to Soloch, Russia has not yet abandoned its intention to seize the whole of Ukraine and is ready to move towards this goal for years. Good news from this morning. Over the past 24 hours, 3 Russian troop depots and 1 base were destroyed. The next month is the turning point since February. Yeah, I mean, that's true, but it actually looks like this time it might be true because, so Stephen here says, I feel like they've been saying that the next month is the turning point since February. I do agree with him. They have been saying that for a while, but I feel like those have been like different. You know, I wouldn't listen to anyone who is not the Ukrainian defense minister about what is going to be the turning point, or like what Ukraine, at what stage Ukraine is now, or like how our offensive is going, because they're all basically looking from the distance, right? They're not really looking from inside the country. I think the only person who can say when the offensive is going to, when there is going to be a turning point in the offensive or in the war, is Reznikov and people who are actually in Ukraine analyzing the war, because it really like makes no sense from someone who is not within the country, right? So yeah, but it does look like it's been quite a turning point already, provided that Ukraine has been quite literally attacking and destroying Russian facilities, which we were not able to do before. So at least from that standpoint, there has been a huge turning point, right? AFU continues to repulse enemy attacks in Bakhmut and Avdiivka direction. The turning point happened yesterday, in my opinion. Oh, when Russians were fleeing Crimea like rats flee the sinking ship? Did that seem to you like a turning point? I wonder why. I don't know. Oh, were there Russians standing in a gigantic traffic jam at the Kerch Bridge? Not knowing where to do and crying in their cars? What was that it? Oh, poor baby Russians. Oh, you know where I was born? Where? Let me know. Please tell me. I mean, it's never been a surprise. I've always told people where I was. I've always told people where I was born, but yeah, please enlighten me. Are you more aware of where I was born other than I am? I'm curious. There's like a person on TikTok who came in and started yelling in caps saying, I know where she was born. And I'm like, where? Because to be honest with you, lady or gentleman, I've never hidden where I was born, but I'm very curious to know what your take is. Yeah, you know, as Nazar had pointed out, I was born in a maternity ward, but I'm quite curious as to where you think I was born. Anyways, invaders shelled Kharkiv and Nikopol at night. In Kharkiv, an electric pylon and streetcar rails were damaged. Also, the facade of and partially the roof were damaged, and windows of a 2-story building were broken. There is no information about casualties. Nikopol was fired 3 times with Grad missiles. 120 rockets flew into the city. Shops, workshops, administration premises, and cars were mutilated at 3 enterprises. Housing was destroyed. 1 person was injured and hospitalized. The main tactical goal of the Russian south of Bakhmut is to control Zaitsevo. This will control the TO-513 highway, which supports Ukrainian forward positions in the northeast Donetsk region. To the northeast of Bakhmut, the enemy's main efforts are concentrated at Soledar, where, according to the Institute's map, fighting is already taking place in the outskirts. The Institute also believes that the Russians will attack northwest of Pisky from the center of the settlement, that is, without waiting for it to be captured. That is, apparently, to Vodyane to surround Avdiivka from the south. At the same time, for yesterday, the zone of Russian control in Pisky and Avdiivka, judging by the interactive map of the Institute for the Study of War, has not changed. British intelligence update as of August 9th. Over the weekend, Russia has continued to focus efforts on reinforcing defenses in southern Ukraine. Despite the shift in effort, Russia has maintained attacks on Ukrainian positions in Donetsk Oblast. Over the last 30 days, Russia's assault towards the town of Bakhmut has been its most successful axis in the Donbass. However, Russia has only managed to advance about 10 kilometers during this time. In other Donbass sectors where Russia was attempting to break through, its forces have not gained more than 3 kilometers during this 30-day period, almost certainly significantly less than planned. Despite its continued heavy use of artillery in these areas, Russia has not been able to generate capable combat infantry in sufficient numbers to secure more substantial advances. Zelensky called on Western countries to ban entry to all Russian citizens. Thank you, Big Robbie. In an interview with the Washington Post, Zelensky said that the most important sanctions are to close the borders because the Russians are taking others' land. He said the Russians should live their own world until they change their philosophy. Whatever the Russians are, let them go to Russia, he said. They will say, this war has nothing to do with us. The whole population can't be responsible, can it? It can. The population chose this government, and they don't fight it, they don't argue with it, they don't scold it, the president said. Heroям slava. Don't you want the isolation, Zelensky added, speaking as if he were addressing the Russians directly. You tell the whole world it has to live by your rules, then go and live there. That's the only way to influence Putin. A new virus has been identified in China. It is a Genepa virus, Lanja, probably of animal origin. At least 35 people have already been infected with it. Symptoms include fever, fatigue, cough, anorexia, myalgia, nausea, vomiting. The new virus is similar to Nipah, one of the most dangerous in the world. No cure, 40% to 75% mortality rate. Is this a joke? So the universe is just like, COVID didn't kill you. You don't want to use nukes on each other to kill each other. So I present to you Lanja. I can't either. I just don't understand how we managed to have COVID, a bunch of wars, a bunch of invasions, a bunch of like economic collapses, a bunch of catastrophes, a bunch of all of these crazy things, and 3 viruses. My God. I need to go get vaccinated from monkeypox. Мамо, в Китаї знайшли новий вірус. My mom's face. It's called Lanja. Він від тварин походить, і 35 людей вже ним інфіковані. Симптоми – це є гарячка, втомленість, кашель, анорексія, майалджа, типу файбромайалджа – це коли бронхи, тошнота і новий вірус, схожий на вірус Ніпа, один з найпотужніших вірусів у світі, тому що від нього немає цього виліковування, і 40% до 5% смертність. Ukrainian President Zelensky may also attend the meeting of the world leaders in case of Putin's presence at the G20 summit. This was stated by the advisor to the head of the OP, Mikhailo Podolyak, in an interview with the BBC. Zelensky has not yet decided whether to accept an invitation to the G20 summit, Podolyak said. Without the withdrawal of the Russian Federation Crimea and Donbass, Ukraine will not conduct peace talks. Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the president's office, said that the primary condition for negotiations, the withdrawal of Russian troops outside the borders before a full-scale invasion, has changed. Now the conditions are different. First, a tactical defeat of Russia, then going beyond the internationally recognized borders of Ukraine, that is, the borders of 1991. If at least a point of conflict remains with Russia, this will be an unfinished war, Podolyak said. In Mariupol, the invaders used Ukrainian prisoners of war to exhume the bodies of the dead. Local residents report that now the bodies are being dug up on the left bank. The invaders attracted to this, for the most part, the prisoners who were previously at Azovstal. Our military is forced to take out bodies that have lain in the ground for several months without any means of protection and under the guns of armed Russians. Russia will bomb Bayraktar factory if it is built in Ukraine. If the production of Turkish drones appears in Ukraine, it will fall under demilitarization, Peskov said. This is how he commented on the news about the allocation of the construction of a plant for the production of Bayraktars in Ukraine. Well, at that honey, you will be out of our country and you will be sanctioned out of the wazoo, and I don't think you will be able to launch or bomb anything. I also do not think you or your buddy Putin will be alive by that time, so good freaking luck, bon chance, and have a good day. In the temporarily occupied Crimea and the Novofedorivka, the military airfield of the occupiers is on fire. Locals report hearing about 7 explosions. It is also reported that military planes and helicopters were based on this airfield from which Mykolaiv was shelled from last week. Explosions in the Crimea, what was known as of a couple of hours ago. Explosions have not stopped for more than an hour. A large number of ambulances are driving towards Novofedorivka from Yevpatoria. Many people are trying to leave the region. There are traffic jams at the exit. Many people are trying. Local authorities confirmed the explosions and reported they had left for the place. Former advisor to the head of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Andrusiv, hints that missiles with a range of 200 to 300 kilometers have appeared in Ukraine and they are already being used. Officially, there is no such information yet. State of emergency has been declared in Crimea. Russians leaving is not an emergency. I thought it was a state of peace.
Не бойтесь.
Oh. What a lovely picture. Anyways, there were 15 strikes in Novofedorivka in 30 minutes. Most are in the military. Warehouses are still detonating, according to the media. The 43rd Fighter Aviation Regiment of the PKS of Russia is currently based at the airfield, which mainly consists of Su-30SM, Su-33 aircraft, and Su-24M bombers. Updated, according to media reports, in Novofedorivka, the Russian airfield was destroyed in the town of Saki. There were also strikes in the airfield. And here is the comment of the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation. At about 15:20 on the territory of the Saki airfield near the Novofedorovka settlement, several aviation munitions detonated on an abundant storage site. No one was injured in the explosion. Aviation equipment at the airfield is not damaged. Measures are being taken to extinguish the fire. and find out the causes of the explosion. According to the report from the site, there was no fire impact on the abundant ammunition storage area at the airfield. Sure. Росіяни кажуть, що то спрацювала якась фігня в Криму на базі, і що воно взірвалося, і вони намагаються зрозуміти, як таке сталося, і що їхня база не постраждала. Yeah, the airfield is fully intact. No munitions were harmed. You know, that smoke over there, that's just for show. Mom says, yeah, someone did not butt their cigarette properly. English language account of the Russian Foreign Ministry on Twitter blocked for publishing fake content. The diplomatic department explained that the blocking was caused by the publication of excerpts from a briefing on U.S. military biological activities. The account has been blocked since August 5th. Detonation of several aviation ammunition stores. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, in Russia, you know, all things are accidents and detonations, and, you know, someone smoked in the wrong spot. It's never the Ukrainian army that blew it up. It's just, you know, just a coinkydink. Just a coinkydink. Russia announced the stop of oil supplies to Europe through the territory of Ukraine. The transit of oil through the Druzhba pipeline through the territory of Ukraine was stopped on August 4th. The Russian company names the reason for the sanctions, which made it impossible to pay Ukrtransneft for transit services. Again, sure. That is exactly why. Literally not because, you know, you're losing the war and you're feeling it, and now you're like, we're not going to be doing this through Ukraine. No, they're not acting like toddlers at all. They're just, it's the sanctions that prevent them from, you know, from paying. Estonian Prime Minister Kaja Kallas urged to limit the tourism of Russian citizens to Europe and stop issuing visas to Russians. Stop issuing tourist visas to Russians. Visiting Europe is a privilege, not a human right, Kallas said. She recalled that at the moment, air communication with Russia is closed, and while the Schengen countries continue to issue visas, this has a negative impact on Russia's neighboring countries, Estonia, Latvia, and Finland, through which there is a flow of Russian citizens across the land border. Also because, like, they don't deserve it. Why are we giving visas to them still? For what reason? The Prime Minister of Finland supported the idea of her Estonian colleague to abolish the issuance of tourist visas to Europe for Russians. Jed, since when do you speak Ukrainian? The enemy has a partial success in the direction of the village of Varshina, the main thing from the summary of the General Staff on the evening of August 9th. Huh?
Did you make a coffee?
Yes, I did. See, I didn't kill him.
Yeah.
No, people were wondering because you disappeared and I said that you broke my mug, so there were rumors. Добрий вечір. It's the Vasily clone. Thank you, Mariana. Explosions at the airfield in the temporarily occupied Crimea are the work of the armed forces of Ukraine. Heroyam Slava. The New York Times, Duolingo and Google Translate, gotcha. The New York Times writes about this, citing an official from the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. According to him, only Ukrainian-made weapons were used for the strike. It was an airbase from which planes regularly took off to attack our forces in the southern theater of operations, he said. Biden signed protocols on the accession of Finland and Sweden to NATO. The attack on the airfield in Novofedorivka could have been inflicted by the armed forces of Ukraine with the help of the Grom OTMS. This is the only Ukrainian weapon that can reach this Saki region. The Grom operational tactical missile system has a range of 50 to 280 kilometers for export and 450 to 500 kilometers for the armed forces. Meanwhile, locals reported there are still traffic jams on the Kerch Bridge, and agents of the Russian Federal Security Service are on duty along the route. They stop and search cars, interrogate people. Oh no, Russians are going to feel like Ukrainians felt. Oh, Russian authorities are going to be interrogating Russians and looking for collaborators with Ukraine. Oh, they're not going to feel comfortable. Hi, Karine. I've seen some videos that make it look like sabotage, as BU could be behind it. No, I mean, what do you mean, like sabotage? You need to elaborate on that. I'm good, Walter York. Sorry, Walter York. I'm good, Walter. Sorry. How are you? In occupied Krylovka, an ammo depot invaders was also on fire today. The mayor of Melitopol, Ivan Fedorov, published a video of the fire and said that a month ago the Russians brought their military equipment to Krylovka in the hope that the armed forces of Ukraine would not get it here. And we did. We will return the Ukrainian Crimea, the address of Volodymyr Zelensky. This Russian war against Ukraine and against all of free Europe began with Crimea and must end with Crimea, its liberation. Russia has turned our peninsula, which has always been and will continue to be one of the best places in Europe, into one of the most dangerous places. But we will return to the Ukrainian Crimea, from Kharkiv Oblast to Kherson, from Donetsk to Enerhodar, from Stanitsa Luhansk to Yalta, from Berdyansk to Novofedorivka. These are all parts of our country. This is Ukraine, which will be completely free. Hi there. Hi, everyone. Ukraine will win. Yes, we will. Footage of the aftermath of the explosions at the airfield in Crimea, mind you, where Russians say nothing was damaged. Yeah, nothing was damaged. Not a single thing. Hi, Kevin. Yeah, this looks so not damaged. Everything is in pristine condition. You know how New York real estate agents like to write mint condition. Hi, Jillian. Debut of the armed forces of Ukraine in the Crimea during the day. 4 ammunition depots, 2 bases, and 1 headquarters of the invaders were destroyed. Instagram blocked the page of the Association of Families of Defenders of Azovstal. The Ministry of Digital Transformation asked Meta to unblock the page. The account had more than 33,000 subscribers. The Association of Families of Azovstal Defenders reported that Instagram and Meta have long shown a distaste for the topic of the war in Ukraine and Ukrainian defenders. In particular, the heroes of the Azov Regiment, who have been subjected to absurd restrictions by the social network for years. Today, these restrictions have also affected native soldiers awaiting them from captivity. Not native. Affected families of soldiers who are waiting for them to come back from captivity. Gosh, sometimes these translations are really botched. Minister of Digital Transformation Mikhailo Fedorov said that the pages of Ukrainian defenders should not be blocked. He's waiting for a prompt response from the Meta team and hopes that the company will soon be able to comprehensively change approaches to content moderation and solve the problem of mass blocking of Ukrainian users. Yeah, can you also contact TikTok while you're at it? Yeah, it's been very good. Thank you. My mom is right here. She's just doing her thing. Russian troops delivered ground strikes southeast of Seversk and in the area of Bakhmut, and also north of Donetsk and southwest of Donetsk near the border of Zaporizhia and Donetsk region, according to the Institute for the Study of War. Ukrainian officials said that Russian forces continued to fire artillery systems from the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. Western media report that a counteroffensive of Ukrainian troops is underway near Izum, but the General Staff of Ukraine in its evening report does not say anything about this area at all. Na dobranic. Thank you, Karine. Russian sources have suggested that newly formed volunteer battalions are responsible for most of the Izum sector. Russian officials continue to play a prominent role in preparing sham referendums in Russian-occupied regions, despite Kremlin claims that Russia does not hold referendums. Russia requested a meeting of the UN Security Council for August 11th. As the Russian media write, this is allegedly connected with Kyiv strikes on the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Kyiv strikes. Russia would like to see IAEA Director General Grossi as a speaker. What is currently known about Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant? Russia has begun to implement a plan to connect Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant to the Russian energy system and disconnect it from the Ukrainian one. In order to switch the ZNPP to Crimea, in order to switch the ZNPP to Crimea, it needs to turn off the entire south of Ukraine, the occupied parts of the Kherson and Zaporizhzhia regions. After that, they begin to connect power supply to the areas, again from the substation in Jankoy, gradually reach Kakhovskaya substation, and then connect the ZNPP. After that, it will no longer be possible to connect the ZNPP to the Ukrainian energy system. It will remain on the Russian frequency. This is their plan, and they have begun to implement it, said Petro Kotin, head of the Energoatom. According to him, Petr Kotin, head of the Energoatom, according to him, Ukraine needs to regain control over the ZNPP before winter, and Russia needs to withdraw its military and equipment from there. Peacekeepers can guard the facility. Meanwhile, the United States is urging Russia to return full control of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant to Ukraine. This was stated by the White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. According to her, Washington intends to work with the IAEA on this issue. 13 people died as a result of night shelling in the Dnipropetrovsk region. In the Nikopol region, the Russian army killed 13 people and wounded 13 people as well. In Marhanets, 10 people died, 11 were injured. One woman died in Vyshetarasovka of the Myrna community. Her house is completely destroyed by an enemy shell. 2 spouses suffered, a woman with injuries in the hospital. Doctors assess her condition as moderate. 1 person is being treated at home. The head of the Pentagon, Lloyd Austin, arrived in Latvia. He will discuss military assistance to Ukraine. I came to Riga, Latvia. I look forward to meeting with the senior leadership of the Latvian government to discuss security issues in the region and the importance of continued support for Ukraine, Lloyd Austin tweeted. Turkey passes through the Bosphorus ships with military equipment that Russia collects around the world, according to Bloomberg. The sanctioned Russian ship Sparta II in July made a voyage from the Syrian port of Tartus to the Black Sea port of Novorossiysk, where it unloaded 11 units of approximate military equipment. This is indicated by Western intelligence data, satellite images, and the opinion of military experts. Russia does not accuse Ukraine of strikes on Crimea so as to not admit the impotence of its air defense, American analysts from Institute for the Study of War. Simultaneity of explosions at 2 different sites probably excludes the official Russian version of an accidental fire, but does not rule out either sabotage or long-range missile attacks. Analysts from the Institute for the Study of War said, "This is some footage."
Двери повырывало межквартирные, межкомнатные.
Oh no, your windows broke and your doors.
Входную дверь в квартиру вынесло, вырвало. А взрыв был там.
Oh no.
Слышно по шумам, что уже что-то бахает. Слышно не сильно. Первый был взрыв основной. А, гранит. Что там творится? О, история была, значит, творится. История, ух ты, ебать. Взрывная волна. Весь там наш почта.
Yeah, Crazy Cat says, I seen this video on Telegram. All the buildings are gone. Even the grass field is scorched black, but nothing happened. But also, I love how the Russians are like, oh my gosh, no, the windows have been blown out, and the doors have come off hinges. And I'm like, oh, how are you gonna live? That is horrifying. I wonder, to whom has it happened before, but in a magnitude of 30 times worse than that? Who? Ukraine? Ukrainian people? I'm sorry, whose house are you at? Like, the video starts with like with this man saying, oh, can you imagine you're sleeping in your apartment and then this happens? And I'm like, I'm sorry, whose apartment? Which Ukrainian person's apartment is this? Guys, it ain't your apartment. You were not from there. You didn't live there. It's an apartment of a Ukrainian person that had to flee. Ukraine will receive $4.5 billion from the World Bank and another $89 million from the United States. A new batch of missiles from the S-300-400 air defense system was brought to Belarus, according to Belarusian Gayun, and that is from Russia. Ukraine expects to receive at least $20 billion from grain exports. Thank you, Karine. Deputy Minister of Agrarian Policy, Taras Wysotsky. More than 1,066 children were killed and injured as a result of Russia's armed aggression in Ukraine, according to the prosecutor's office. Mama, мені дуже треба у дівчачу кімнату. А ти не можеш... Мамо, ну будь ласка. Ну будь ласка. I really need to, step away for a second for to powder my nose, and I'm asking my mom, Mamo, будь ласка, to come and hang out with you for a little. Ну, мамо, я тебе прошу, в тебе так добре виходить. What do you mean, that не виходить? Я ж бачу, що виходить. Як не виходить?
Давай швиденько. Знову доброго вечора, ми з України. Ну, що забув? Просто включи музику. Юля, тут пропонують просто включити музику.
Але потім...
Привіт. Всім привіт знову. Всім, кого не бачили, всім привіт. Дякую за сердечко. Дуже гарне. Привіт. І знову привіт. Та кидає мене в краску, вводить мене в фарбу червону, може трошки зелену. Ну, мушу їй допомагати щось. Здрасте, как дела? Все прекрасно. Героям слава. Дякую. Навзаєм. Send you like too. Дуже дякую за привіт з Київської області. У мене там дуже близькі друзі живуть. Дякую за серденько. Вона в мене слухняна. Я так можу трошки позудіти, як мати, але взагалі мені здається, що вона в мене дуже добра донька виросла. Дякую за серденьки. Героям слава. Дякую за лайк. щось запитуйте, тому що я не знаю. Я не звикла до таких мероприємств, до таких заходів. Це Юліна більше. Так, то Юля повернеться і вона вам відповість, як її історія. Яка її улюблена історія. Гадаю, що в неї багато улюблених історій. Я тут взагалі не живу. Я приїхала відвідати доньку. І тут всього 2 тижні. Так вийшло, що в мене вийшла така нагода, і я приїхала на її день народження привітати, тому що не бачила її 4 роки. І зараз мала змогу приїхати, і за пару днів я їду додому. Юлія живе тут вже 11 років. Hello. Дякую за лайки. Якісь серденька. Все, Юля повертається.
Бачиш,
я вам
як
її віддаю
гарно
назад.
Бачиш, як
Назад.
гарно виходить.
Ну,
Як це?
знаю, що це робити.
Ти вже навіть подякувала за лайки?
Так, там вже якісь серця такі прислали.
Це подарунок був, мама. Та ти прислала подарунок?
Я подякувала.
Ні, то я знаю, я просто кажу, що то навіть не лайк, то подарунок.
Ні, там було потім після того лайки.
О, Аліна, хай! А що тебе питалася? Що ти розказувала?
Давно, чи тільки вимушена була виїхати під час війни. Я сказала, що цього тижня приїхала за
A tribunal over prisoners of war in Mariupol will be organized before the end of summer, the leader of the so-called DPR, Pushilin. He says the tribunal should be held as openly as possible. The tribunal over prisoners of war is the tribunal in cages of the Azovstal defenders that I talked about in my video on my page. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. It is absolutely horrendous. And they're planning on executing that tribunal before the end of summer. In Melitopol, an explosion thundered near the headquarters of the United Russia, where the occupiers are preparing for a referendum. Sorry. According to preliminary information, this is the work of resistance. Local publics reported the facade of the building was damaged as a result of the explosion, and there were no casualties among the collaborators, for now. The main intelligence directorate of the Armed Forces of Ukraine received a batch of mini Bayraktars, drones with a flight range of up to 100 kilometers, and thermal imagers. Explosions in Crimea, the first effect of purges in the SBU and the deprivation of citizenship of well-known businessmen and politicians. Western partners demanded that Zelensky begin to purge law enforcement agencies and local elites from Russian agents. This was a condition for providing more powerful weapons to Ukraine on the eve of a possible counteroffensive. This opinion was voiced by political analyst Oleg Lisnoy in his media column. Personnel changes in the SBU, the decree of President Zelensky on the termination of Ukrainian citizenship of a number of well-known businessmen and politicians could have been signed under pressure from the EU and the United States, requiring the Ukrainian authorities to deal with possible Russian agents. Russian commanders highly likely continue to be faced with the competing operational priorities of reinforcing the Donbas offensive and strengthening defenses against anticipated Ukrainian counterattacks in the south, according to the British intelligence as of August 10th. To support the Ukraine operation, Russia has almost certainly established a major new ground forces formation, 3rd Army Corps, based out of Mulino in Nizhny Novgorod Oblast, east of Moscow. Russia likely plans to resource a large proportion of 3AC from newly formed volunteer battalions, which are being raised across the country and which group together recruits from the same areas. Russian regional politicians have confirmed that potential 3AC recruits are being offered lucrative cash bonuses once they deploy to Ukraine. Recruitment is open to men up to 50 years old and with only middle school education. A Russian army corps typically consists of 15 to 20,000 troops, but it will probably be difficult for Russia to bring 3AC up to this strength, given very limited levels of popular enthusiasm for volunteering for combat in Ukraine. 3AC's effect is unlikely to be decisive to the campaign. Ukraine plans to liberate Kherson by the end of the year, according to Marchenko. Kherson 100%, that is, the liberation of Kherson and the end of the active phase of the war, and then some more local military operations will take place. But by the end of the year, we must finish the main phase of this war, Major General replied, Ukrainian Armed Forces Dmytro Marchenko, to the question about the deoccupation of the south of Ukraine this year. It can hit at any moment, but we don't want to leave. The small village of Zahradovka is located in the north of the Kherson region. The well-known Ukrainian producer and TV presenter Igor Kondratyuk spent his childhood here. There are no military installations in the village, but the local residents suffer. It so happened that the village was not occupied by the Russians, but the Russians regularly fire at the village with various types of weapons. Correspondent Ukraine Now talked to a family that does not want to leave the village and actually lives under shelling. The invaders shelled the territory of their site 3 times. Our armed forces of Ukraine hit the bridge near the Kakhovskaya hydroelectric power station, according to Operational Command South. The hit is accurate, but effective, the military noted. Hungarian MOL and Slovak Slovnaft paid for the transit of Russian oil through Ukraine. Deliveries will begin today at 4 p.m. Kyiv time. Russian coal remains banned. Ukrainian fitness app Better Me is in the tops of Apple. Why is it unique? So basically, there is a Ukrainian fitness app that has been recommended by United 24. Ukrainian Victoria Repa created a unique Better Me application to maintain physical and mental health. The beauty of the app is that it offers a holistic approach to health, improving mental health and body well-being through exercise. By the way, they're designed for different categories of people of different ages and include workouts for pregnant women, people with disabilities, family workouts, and more. In April, Better Me made it to the top 3 Apple apps in the health category. More people train on the app than on the Nike Running Club. For Ukrainians, the application is free. That's kind of cool. That's really cool. G7 countries demand that Russia return Zaporizhzhia NPP to Ukrainian control and allow IAEA, thank you, Karine, experts to enter the station. G7 statement. Ukrainian personnel operating the Zaporizhzhia NPP must be able to perform their duties without threats and pressure, the statement says. The leaders of the G7 countries believe that the actions of the Russian Federation and the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant endanger many countries and increase the risk of a nuclear catastrophe. The IAEA said that the shelling of the Russian Federation on August 5th and 6th violated almost all 7 indispensable components of nuclear safety at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. At the same time, now there is no nuclear threat at the ZNPP. In the meantime, the Zaporizhzhia Regional Military District decided to update the plans for evacuation and emergency response at the ZNPP, adapting them to the conditions of martial law. Also, according to the head of Energoatom, Petro Kotin, the Ukrainian military can interrupt the transmission lines at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant if the Russian invaders cut off the ZNPP from the Ukrainian energy system. In Novo-Oleksiyevka, Kherson region, almost next to Crimea, someone also smoked the hangar and equipment burned down. Someone. Right over here. So this is Melitopol. This is Kherson. Kherson, Melitopol, Nikopol. Oh, sorry. Nikopol. At least 60 pilots and civilians serving the airfield were killed and more than 100 injured after explosions in the occupied Crimea at the airbase. It will take at least a year to restore the airfield, advisor to the head of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Anton Harashenko. Yeah. No destruction whatsoever.
Надеюсь, это последнее.
Yeah, Veronica. I think that I'm gonna download it. Героям слава. Oh, sorry. Russia has stolen more than 12 trillion worth of minerals from Ukraine. These are the calculations of the American at the Washington Post. Russia has already occupied more than 60% of coal deposits, 20% of gas deposits, and more than 40% of metal deposits, according to the Top Energy Channel. The first video of the strike on the Kakhovka bridge appeared. Operational Command South reported that the bridge became unusable after being hit by the Ukrainian armed forces. This is what it looks like. Тобто, але це як це? According to Washington Post, wait, so there is Sweetie Pretty Me says that it's not Ukrainian armed forces who did a strike on Crimea. But according to Washington Post, Ukraine had admitted to conducting that strike with Ukrainian-made weapons. No, I just read, I'm pretty sure, one second. One sec. Let's see. One second. Explosions at the airfield in the temporarily occupied Crimea are the work of the armed forces of Ukraine. The New York Times writes about this, citing an official from the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. According to him, only Ukrainian-made weapons were used for the strike. The Ukrainian-made weapons that could have reached Crimea to be used for this strike are the Grom operational tactical missile. Well, I mean, I guess we're going to have to wait for more information to see what actually happened there. Because I'm getting information here that it was not the armed forces of Ukraine, but I'm also reading from the Washington Post and from the, sorry. Подоляк виступив з офіційним поясненням. Okay, so I guess Mikhailo Podolyak, the head of the presidential office, basically, had apparently come out to speak about this. So I don't know if I have seen this, if I will be seeing this in my updates today, but what did he say? Also, while we were waiting for Sweetie to write what he said, I'm going to read the rest of the updates. Hi, Gorilla Joe. There was a video of the cages in which the Ukrainian military from the Azov regiment will be kept during the tribunal in Mariupol. There is only one conclusion: they're afraid of the Azov alive in battle, in captivity, and even the dead. Patron Drushenko, advisor to the mayor of Mariupol, signed the video. And these are the cages.
Вот так выглядит камера, в которой будут содержаться последствия резолюции перед судом.
So apparently, the head of the presidential office, Mikhailo Podolyak, said that Ukraine or the Kyiv authorities have nothing to do with the airstrike in Crimea, or rather the explosion at the airbase in Crimea. The Dnipropetrovsk region will be... Привет, Mykolaiv. The Dnipropetrovsk region will be insurmountable for the occupiers, like Stalingrad. Gennady Korban gave an exclusive interview to BBC journalists. In an interview, he spoke about the counteroffensive in the Kherson region, the return to Ukraine, and how prepared the Dnipropetrovsk region is for a possible invasion of the Russian army. I am calm for the Dnipropetrovsk region. I'm calm for the Dnieper, because for 6 months when I was in charge and continue to be in charge of the defense headquarters of the city and the region, a unique defense system was built. Unique like no other in the area. The most interesting thing is that the enemy knows this too, and they also understand that the Dnipro region will be like Stalingrad for them, probably. That is, this is an insurmountable obstacle, Korban said. Yeah. All enemy assault attempts were repulsed by Ukrainian soldiers. The summary of the General Staff on the evening of August 10th. Swedish Amnesty International co-founder Per Westberg leaves the organization because of the report of the armed forces of Ukraine. Earlier, he criticized the report on Ukraine. I have been a member of the organization for almost 60 years. It is with a heavy heart that I am ending my long and fruitful collaboration because of Amnesty's statement regarding the war in Ukraine, he said. Podolyak had also thanked every single employee of Amnesty who had quit over this article. But this is literally Swedish Amnesty International co-founder who had quit. A new video and photo of the consequences of precise strikes by the Ukrainian HIMARS on the Kakhovka Dam appeared. Wait. Six dead and 3 wounded as a result of today's shelling of Bakhmut in Donetsk region. Що ти мені прислала, мам? Mom. Okay, well, I guess she's wearing noise-canceling headphones. 6 dead and 3 wounded as a result of today's shelling of Bakhmut in Donetsk region, head of the regional military administration, Pavlo Kyrylenko. At about 11:40 a.m., the Russians opened fire in the city from MLRS. The blow again fell on the residential area. According to preliminary estimates, 12 houses were damaged. Fires broke out in 4 of them. Це дякувати американцям треба за HIMARS. Ukraine received a $20 billion external debt deferral, according to Reuters. Foreign creditors have frozen payments on international bonds for 2 years to prevent default in the country, which that is great news. We will provide as much as needed Pentagon and military assistance to Ukraine. We are ready to help Ukraine and provide them with equipment to protect their sovereign territory, Bloomberg quoted U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin as saying. Russia has committed a significant portion of its best military hardware to the invasion of Ukraine, he said, and maintains air and sea capabilities despite heavy casualties. The head of the Pentagon also reaffirmed NATO's commitment to maintain a permanent rotational presence in the Baltic region to protect the eastern flank of the alliance. Oh yeah, Amnesty International has completely tanked their reputation for nothing. A lot of senior Amnesty officials are quitting, and a lot of people are leaving the organization because they're just like, wow, I don't want to be associated with this. It's clear Russian propaganda, and it's just money talks. American actor and producer Steven Seagal visited the colony in Olenivka and is going to shoot a movie about the war in Donbass. Steven Seagal is filming a documentary about the war in Donbass. He talked with prisoners of war in the Olenivka pre-trial detention center. At the meeting, Steven noted that 98% of those who talk about the conflict in the media have never been here. So the world does not know the truth. He wants to change the view of this war, said the so-called leader, the so-called DPR, Pushilin. Note that Steven Seagal has been a Russian citizen since 2016. Yup. Of course he's doing Steven Seagal. He's a director who's been a Russian citizen since 2016. I'm guessing, nobody cares about him in America anymore, and he can't get jobs here, so wherever money pays. Which seems to be a normal thing for a lot of people who are washed-up actors and directors. The Russian army shelled 110 Ukrainian cities and territories on August 9th. European researchers of the war report that at least 110 settlements were shelled, which is less than on August 8th, but higher than the 7-day average, which now stands at 104. Kharkiv was slightly less shelled compared to the previous week. Most of all, the settlement of Avdiivka and others were under shelling in the Donetsk region, which is the anti-leader in the shelling of the invaders. Evening address of Volodymyr Zelensky, which is the opposite of leading. Evening address of Volodymyr Zelensky. The armed forces of Ukraine, our intelligence, and our law enforcement agencies will not leave today's Russian shelling of Dnipro region unanswered. This next manifestation of Russian terror, like the attack on Mykolaiv and Kharkiv, once again proves that it is necessary to increase military aid to Ukraine. The more powerful our weapons will be and the greater the range of their use, the sooner this cruel war will end. The more losses the occupiers have, the sooner we will be able to liberate our land and guarantee the security of Ukraine. If almost 43,000 dead Russian soldiers do not convince the Russian leadership that they need to find a way out of the war, then more fighting is needed, more results are needed to convince them. So yeah, this is all news that I have for today. At least for now. There might be something else coming out later. I will do like another live later in the evening just to hang out and kind of talk. Do the summary of the fundraiser. I will count everything up and I will show you what we've gotten. I was gonna do it by the end of this live, but honestly, I need a nap. So I'll do that in the evening. I'll probably record it on YouTube too as like a hangout live and fundraiser summary for now, or like fundraiser success report. If you would like to donate to it, the link is in my bio, or you could donate to my Venmo, which is at Yulia, or you could donate to my PayPal, which is yuliadesign@gmail.com. Thank you, Suzanne. Also, as a gentle reminder, if you don't follow me on YouTube, please consider following me on YouTube. It's the same as here, YouTube or Twitch, because I do simultaneously stream both on YouTube and Twitch with here. So anytime you miss a stream, you'll be able to find it there. Oh, thank you, Karine. The fundraiser will be up, I think, until Sunday at least. I think until Sunday. Wednesday, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, like until Sunday. Bye, Grumpy. But also, yeah, I'm going to go and rest a little bit because my mom and I both are kind of like today. But I will be back in a couple of hours to just hang out and do like a hangout live. We haven't done those in a while, but I need to go like clean up my apartment, sleep a little. Oh, hi, Poli Sci History Guy. Hi, Ryan. Gosh, I need to remember to call you Ryan, not Poli Sci History Guy. Bill Nye, the science guy. But yeah, okay, guys, I will see you later. Hi, Ryan. Also, bye, Ryan. Good to see you here. I did eat already. Don't worry, I will be eating some cheese though. But oh, awesome. That's cool, Barb. Oh, the quilt. Oh my gosh, Veronica, that's so sweet of you. Alrighty, guys. I see you soon.